This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
Just 10 minutes of sunlight in the morning has a huge impact on our mood. A study that really stood out to me was that 30 minutes of exercise 3 times per week is more impactful than the leading antidepressants on the market.
"18 months ago, I was on a little adventure and I went to the great country of Mexico." This makes it sound so far away. But around 18 months ago, I was asked to go curiously experiment down at, that sounds like I'm doing drugs, down at Chip Conley's Modern Elder Academy. And if you don't know about Chip Conley and MEA, again, not drugs, Modern Elder Academy, go check this out. And Chip is just like another level thought leader, thinker, and maybe that's a better way to put him, entrepreneur. And he has launched this school, and it started down in Mexico. I'd say 18 months ago, get a chance to go down there. And I had Chip come on the Courageous podcast. And I think in my head, the original idea from my lens was, wow, what a cool place to sort of escape yourself. And is there an opportunity for me to eventually go down there and teach courage, as a course, or as one of their many modules that they teach at Modern Elder Academy. And I remember sort of pitching this idea to my wife that in December, I'm going to go on a week-long journey. She's going to be stuck here with the kids while I'm going down there. And somehow she gives me the green light. And down there, it is the upside down world of my everyday. It's an awesome opportunity to connect and collide with new people. And I know nobody, like 0 people, as there's probably 45 people, it felt like, as part of our cohort. And where we are is pretty much waking up right on the water, right on the ocean. It's beautiful. And I remember one of the very first people I met that day is my guest today, who's the founder of A Hit of Happiness, Brian Dubow. Did I say it right?
That's right. Brian Dubow. You got it.
Because sometimes you can people say Dubow, right? It's like a little,
Exactly.
But I think the entire intent of the strip away your BS here and your corporate titles takes place down there, where you just meet people who they are. And it just happens that I have a company called Courageous, and you happen to have a company called Hit of Happiness. And I remember I can visibly remember seeing you where we always congregated to eat and having that first conversation about your story and where you are. And I should say, before, because I'd love for you to do origin story.
Yeah.
The thing that I love most is it just happens to me. And if you didn't know this, listener, I put out a 5-day happiness challenge. We're now on day 4. You don't need to be in a happiness challenge to seek happiness. And my hope, Brian, is that you kind of share a few wisdom nuggets while you're on the show on helping us sort of maybe reassess or little wins on where we could be happy. But let's go back to Mexico, because how did you hear about Modern Elder Academy? What drove you there? And by the way, Modern Elder Academy is supposed to be a place for old dudes like me, midlife, trying to figure out what comes next. And in comes this 20-something straight out of business school. How did you get there?
Absolutely. So, and Ryan, I do remember that moment of meeting you and our initial conversation, where by the end of 5 minutes, we're like, we're going to be friends. We're going to get along really, really well.
Totally.
But yeah, at the time, I was the youngest person to ever go to Modern Elder Academy. And candidly, I'd heard Chip Conley on a podcast, on the Rich Roll podcast. I was super inspired by his story, by what he was doing for the world. And for those who don't know, he was the head of strategy at Airbnb. He's also a board member of Burning Man. He also had his own a hospitality company. So he's just a serial entrepreneur. I reached out to him on LinkedIn, a cold reach out, asking him for advice on my entrepreneurial journey, quoting a few of the things he said on the podcast, quoting a few things from his book. So it was a thought out message, a really thought out message. And he responded pretty quickly saying, yeah, of course, Brian, I'd be happy to set up, 10 or 15 minutes with you. You can ask me a few questions. And so we built a little online relationship. He heard about my business and he said, hey, Brian, I think you'd really get a lot out of Entrepreneurship Mastery Week at Modern Elder Academy. So that was co-facilitated by Blake Mykowski. That is the week that we went to, where it was really a deep dive into what it looks like to build a business in a conscious way. Not just making money, but also making an impact in the world. And Ryan, both you and I are here to make an impact in the world. You're here to make people more courageous. I'm here to help people be their happiest, healthiest selves. And honestly, courageous people are healthier and happier because they're pushing their limits and they're, honestly acting their authentic full selves. So I think that's part of why we get along so well. But I ended up at Modern Elder Academy. I feel so lucky that I got to meet you and so many amazing, badass entrepreneurs along the way. And, here we are today on a podcast talking about happiness.
Well, I'm just head nodding away. So for those who aren't watching on video, it makes you smile to think that you're on your journey and I'm on mine. And I totally agree that I think courage is a journey word. Like it's a journey concept. Like you need to be courageous. Sometimes when we're scared or in that messy middle or even like stop lying to yourself and be honest on what do you really want out of all this. And usually when you actually go through that, even when it's hard, you come out the other side happier. You go through that tension. If you fight that thing and go through it and you land on the place where you're like, wow, I can't believe it took me so long to actually do that thing. And now here
Yeah.
I am on the other side of it. Like talk me through what happiness is from your lens.
Totally. So I guess on that point, a lot of unhappiness is when we're just feeling stuck, when we're just going through the motions. And it takes courage to break out of that. It takes courage to push through that wall, do something that scares you, and really get back into the motion of life, back into a place that you are excited. But I guess to talk about what happiness is, I'll start with my very, very simple definition. This isn't what you're going to find in the textbooks. This isn't scientific. This is me paying immense attention to my happiness journey. And what I've learned is that happiness is enjoying the passage of time. That's simple. When I am enjoying the passage of time, I'm doing life right. When I am not, I need to reevaluate it. And obviously, enjoyment is a loaded word because some people say, well, sometimes life isn't fun, but it's working towards something meaningful. And that's where we get into semantics, where I look at happiness on both over a period of time, over the past 6 months, as well as your day to day. So over the past 6 months, you want to be living a meaningful life. You want to be feeling like you're working towards something that is important to you. You want to feel like you're tapped into your intuition, like it's a spiritual journey, like you have meaningful relationships in your life. And then there's the day to day, where in a given day, the goal is to have more positive than negative emotions. And, I think that in our tougher times, I'm like Eeyore. I'm just like, sad. I'm feeling down, feeling depressed, feeling anxious. That's where the science of happiness really comes in. That's where we have all these modalities, which we'll talk about, whether it's mindfulness, whether it's gratitude, whether it's inspiration, whether it's connection, that can really turn a bad day into a good day in a matter of minutes. Practicing gratitude over the course of a minute. I'm so grateful that I'm on the Courageous Ryan Berman podcast. That can change everything.
Hey, we're happy to have you.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this though, because I like your definition of happiness, that it's it's appreciating the path being happy in a passage of time. And I think a lot of us spend time thinking about future time that we're trying to get to happy, or we're depressed because there was time in the past and we're like, oh man, I was happy then. I want to go back to being a kid. And so I'm curious, our brains, which are time machines, right, we can like teleport to the past, to the future. When you say passage of time, you're meaning in the actual present moment, I'm assuming, correct?
Totally. Being here and now. And I think, as you mentioned, like when we're living in the past, we're setting ourselves up for depression. When we're living in the future, we're setting ourselves up for anxiety. When we're living in the moment, that is what we can control. That's the only thing that's real. The only thing that's real is that I am on this podcast with Ryan Berman. That's happiness right there.
Are
So
you
how
sure
can
this is
we?
me? This guy, maybe this is hologram or AI
I
version of me.
I could be in the Matrix right now, and if I am in the Matrix, this is a pretty good version of the Matrix because I get to hang out with AI Ryan Berman. So I'll take it, you know.
All right,
um,
so I think you know this, but I have this. All right, so I had this. I basically started on Monday this happiness challenge to those who read the weekly dose of courage that we put out. If you didn't know about that, every Thursday we drop like a very quick, tight weekly dose in your inbox, and it's just like a little nudge. And this now it'll be 2 Thursdays ago. We were looking at the World Happiness Report, which just came out in March, just under a month ago, and disappointingly, the U.S. is now outside the top 20. It's the first time in a long time. And it just bummed me out, like a lot of us. And, I started to like explore what's going on. And the two big ahas on the problem side, not the solution side, were, in my opinion, one, oh my goodness, like the average age of an American having a cell phone is now 10 years old.
yeah,
And social media is still an experiment in the making. And I think social media has some good. But when the Surgeon General comes out and warns that, hey, like this could be detrimental to your mental health, as a guy that has a 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, my wife and I are very like communicative about, sorry, you're gonna be the ones with the parents that don't give you a cell phone till high school. You're gonna have to deal with that pressure. We're
yeah,
them. It's us.
yeah,
And then two, on average, all Americans are spending no less or more than on average 10 hours every 2 days on their phone, spiraling into the vortex of our phone, social media, other things. And so to me, I was like, okay, maybe I can't change all of America, but like, what can I do for the listener and how can we get back to happy? So the idea was now we're moving into solutions. When you
yeah,
study some of Harvard's research, I know you just had
yeah,
Michael Norton on your show, which I want to hear
yeah,
how that went,
yeah,
but relationships, the importance of relationships and connection, not with like, I'm air quoting, Facebook friends, but real friends, actual FaceTime, not Apple FaceTime.
yeah.
And then two, just the importance of exercise and also getting your mind right. That exercise is actually a mental tool as much as it's physical. So I ended up serving up sort of like, all right, here's this 5-day happiness challenge. I'm asking you to do 4 things. And by the way, if this is the first you're hearing of this, permission granted to make tomorrow the first day of your 5-day happiness challenge. And you're the lucky one because I'm sure Brian will have other ideas. And the ask is that we add just one. So we're asking people to do 5 things over these 5 days. Now, the first one I had was when you wake up in the morning, text a friend. Pick up your phone if you're going to be there anyway on your phone for 10 hours. Well, pick up your phone, text a friend, tell them you love them, tell them you miss them. It could be someone from a past life, someone from your high school, grew up with, college, first job, but like just reach out to them and make that connection. You can't control if they're going to respond or not, but you can control how you show up. And so every day over 5 days, start your morning by a gratitude text to someone you love that's a friend. That was number one. We like this idea?
I love that idea. I mean, relationships are the number one predictor of happiness. So, and I think we all think, oh, I don't have time to have a full catch up with that person. But you know how good it feels when someone texts you and just like, hey, checking in. It does not take long. It takes 30 seconds to check in with someone, and it means the world.
Well, and again, you can see my wide be conflicted that I just sat here saying social media, we're on our phones too much. But then again, utilizing those tools were appropriate to genuinely build on relationships you already do have. it's sort of a can't beat 'em, join 'em idea.
Yeah, I mean, I define digital well-being as using technology as a tool as opposed to letting technology use you. Because I think that, as we know, these engineers behind social media companies, they're super smart, and we are the product, and they're trying to get us to spend as much time on there as possible. That's why kids are spending 4.5 hours on social media every single day. That being said, 4.5 hours a day is over 2 months a year on social media. 2 months of your year is spent on social media. So there it is. It is a huge drain, but it's also an amazing tool because Ryan, even when I'm not here in San Diego with you, I can FaceTime you and I can feel like we're in the same room. That's amazing. I just went to the Sphere in Vegas and I saw a concert, and that technology blew my mind. So there's so many amazing things about technology. It's just about being intentional.
I'm happy to hear that because I'm gonna go. Speaking of building relationships with my old college buddies, to the Grateful Dead Sphere show at the end of the next month. By the way, I'm not a deadhead. I'm not knocking deadheads. I'm going because one, my crew's going and I miss them, and I want to spend time with them. And yeah, two, I'm curious of the what a social experiment of seeing. What my I'm sure my ears will hear some things. My eyes will be happy. Can't wait. Now, I should probably have stated in the happiness report, there were a few pretty terrifying facts that came out of it. One, 95% of Americans right now are concerned about the rising costs of needs. Okay, I mean, 95 out of 100 we're having like little mini panic attacks of
Yeah.
how much it costs to live here.
Yeah.
The second was 77% of Americans are concerned about the access to basic necessities. I mean, now
Hmm.
we're talking about almost 8 of 10 on Maslow, right?
Right.
We're on the wrong end of this on the Maslow side, and then 6 out of 10, 60% of Americans. This was actually lower than I thought. We're concerned about corrupt government officials. So you got
Yeah.
95 out of 100 on rising costs. Things are expensive. Can
Yep.
I make it? You talked about um, depression being something that's backwards and anxiety is something that's forward. And so I can feel people thinking about a more expensive future and it creating anxiety. 80%, almost 77% on basic necessities. And then the last one, corrupt government officials. We don't have enough time. And this is a show about happiness. But what I wanted to do on the challenge was to have something that just costs no money, zero
Right.
dollars, and not only is it about relationships, but it's about taking care of yourself. So number two was knock out a daily 1 mile walk, jog, bike, or run. Stationary bike, cool. Although
Yeah.
I prefer we get some fresh air. Like when I wrote it in my head, I didn't see me on a Peloton. I Not to knock Peloton, I saw me getting outside and getting some fresh air. I wonder if you have any data on like being in fresh air does actually make a difference versus being in a gym. But whatever. It costs you $0 to wake up and go for a 1 mile walk. Maybe you're listening to this podcast while you're doing it. Shameless plug. But that's the second part of the challenge is start your day after that text with like if you could do it in the morning, some exercise, 1 mile, a walk, a run, a jog.
Yeah. I love that. Ideally outside, just 10 minutes of sunlight in the morning has a huge impact on our mood. That being said, I think a study that really stood out to me was that 30 minutes of exercise 3 times per week is more impactful than the leading antidepressants on the market. So
Wow.
we're all looking for the silver bullet. The silver bullet is exercise. We're all avoiding the silver bullet. Get outside for 30 minutes 3 times a week. That's it.
Define exercise.
Moving the body, literally moving the body. Most of us are sitting or sleeping, or lying 23 out of 24 hours a day, 23 hours and 50 minutes out of 24 hours a day. It's literally moving the body. Walking counts. Better go for a jog or go for a bike, but walking absolutely counts.
Okay, this is going to be a short podcast because I have not done my walk or jog or run today, and I'm also very curious about the statistic itself or the study itself. So give it to me again. It said that just 3 times a week at 30 minutes has got more efficacy.
Yeah, more impactful on our well-being, on our happiness than the leading antidepressants. So any pill on the market, and our country, half of our country's on meds right now. But what if they exercised? You
So
know?
I will acknowledge that the first two of this challenge, I tried to like ladder directly into the research.
Right.
80 years at Harvard saying, yeah, relationships matter, exercise matters. My third challenge wasn't, it was sort of a wing in it. I'll admit it. There wasn't like a moment of data that was like, this perfectly ties into this, but it just felt right. So I went with it. And it was over the course of these 5 days. And I want to be considerate and thoughtful that you're busy, you're time starved. I have, when I think about the four, I have these in one of my keynotes, the four truths of the business apocalypse.
Mhm.
And this is in the book too. And then over the course of the 5 years of doing this and meeting companies, there's now a fifth truth of the business apocalypse, and that we're not inspiring our people.
Yeah.
And the reason we are not inspiring our people sometimes is because we're so overwhelmed, we can't even like inspire. Like help, I'm solving the problem on the way to the problem I want to solve. Like I need help. So, and I'm sorry if I created anxiety for anybody on this call just from this explanation, but what I really want to do is like, okay, fair. Just once over your 5 days, I want you to go 2 feet in and do something you absolutely love.
Mm,
You love it. And I don't have to tell you what it is. You love it. For me, it's soccer. Like, I love soccer. When I'm on a soccer field, my mind is nowhere else. It's not thinking about, I got to pick up the kids. It's not thinking about, another thing I have to pay for. It's not thinking about, oh my gosh, that presentation. It's not thinking about anything. I am in flow state and I'm playing soccer. And from a little boy version of Ryan, I love that. And one of the beauties of being in Southern California is as an old man, I can play in old man soccer leagues. And so
yeah.
that's my happy place. And whatever it is that you love to do, if it, and my definition of love in this context, Brian, but I'd love to hear if you have a definition or you like
Yep.
this definition. Love is if you find yourself in your flow state, then that's what you love. If it's reading a book, if it's running, if it's going to the movies, if it's getting a makeover, if it's getting a massage, if your brain has taken a time out and like you're in it. And I like, I get double points because it's an activity. It's like actual action. But
Yeah.
commit to doing that once over the 5 days. That is the ask.
Yeah, I love that, the flow state definition, because when we are in flow, we are fully in the moment. And the key to flow is to do something where it's the right amount of difficulty. If something's too easy, you get bored. If something's too hard, you give up. So I bet you're playing in the right league, Ryan. You're not playing with the pros, and you're not playing with the 4-year-olds. You're playing in the right league, and that's what helps you really get fully immersed in the moment. Another thing that I do want to share, it takes about 23 minutes on average to enter a state of flow. We're checking our phones about once every 4 to 6 minutes. So you're not entering flow when you have your phone right next to you. Most people, and if you think about when you enter flow, whether it's on the soccer field, whether it's playing golf, whether it's reading a book, chances are you don't have your technology right next to you. So that's just a little tip as you find that thing.
Oh, this explains why I've never scored a goal in the first 23 minutes of any soccer game of my life. I'm not in
Right.
flow state yet.
Exactly.
By the way, I'm more an assist person than a goal scorer, so my team's probably laughing right now. But it is what it is. All right, super cool. 23 minutes to get into flow state. Okay, but what I really liked about what you said was there's almost like it's a Goldilocks. There's a Goldilocks effect, right? Like don't. It's not like you love it and it's super too easy or it's too hard. Like it's the just right love. Like find your just right
Mhm.
love that isn't so simple, but also isn't like overwhelms you and you get stressed out because it's too hard.
Right. Right. If you're
Climbing
doing
Mount
a five,
Everest.
Right. Climbing up Mount Everest, you're going to give up. Doing a 4-piece puzzle, you're going to do it in 30 seconds. You're not going to
I
have
did
time
it.
to answer flow. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, hey, I don't mean to create more work for you, everybody, or more fun, but
Right.
basically what I'm hearing is whatever that thing is that you love, it's got to be at least 23 minutes and 1 second. And then it's up to
That's
you on
right.
how long you want to decide to stay in flow. All right. So I only had one more on this list, on this happiness challenge. It was, and not surprising, it's when you go to bed, text one family member every night, let them know, very similar to the idea above. If the first is a friend, close the day with family. Maybe there's a friend who's family if that's how your family is, but maybe there's someone in your family that you've lost touch with. Second cousin, uncle, aunt, sibling, parent. But just shift that focus and that energy and control what you can control and reach out to an aunt, an uncle, or cousin that you haven't made time for in a while. Yeah, life happens. We all get busy. I'm 3,000 miles away from my family. It's really hard to be that far away. I just got to spend a weekend with my brother and his family, and I realized how much I miss them. You know,
Mm,
I'm not leaving San Diego, by the way, but like I do. I like in my heart, I miss them. So it's a nice commitment before bed to connect back to your family, let them know you love them, that you're thinking about them, that you miss them. And if you really want to go for the gold, make it a FaceTime, make it a call. It doesn't have to be a text. So you got a text in the morning and a call or FaceTime. It's funny, Nicole Miller from my team, she's like, up it, call, make it a call or FaceTime. So
yeah.
that's on you. What's your thoughts on this one?
So I absolutely love that. I think that, we're all born with these families, and every family is complex. But if you look at the happiest places in the world, we talk about these blue zones. It's the countries that have the closest families. So family is so important. And to just add a dimension to this, Ryan, I would say don't just reach out, but tell them what you're grateful for about them. Whether it's the way you grew up or it's the whatever it is, something about how you grew up with them, what you like about them, because gratitude is a huge way to feel happier, and shared gratitude is so important. A creative way to do this: write a gratitude letter. Write them a letter. You could send it by mail, you could send it via email, you can send it via text, but really take that time to think about what you're grateful for. That'll put you in a good mood. It'll also put them in a good mood, so it's a win-win.
It feels like you get extra points if that's handwritten, right? Where there's something about snail mail that still is like, no, this is meant directly for you. It wasn't like I just fit it in as an email. And again, this doesn't have to be part of the 5 day challenge, folks. Like, I like having it in the 5 day challenge. And one of the things I usually try to do, Brian, that I I didn't want to like overthink this,
Hmm.
but I do like being in control of the calendar. Like to your point, like I like when we're in charge of technology, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And so like scheduling on the calendar some moment where you're writing a handwritten note or you are writing your gratitude text or making a gratitude call. Is there is now you're my guy for definitions. Is there a difference between gratitude and gratefulness?
Mm, I don't have a different definition personally. You tell
Okay.
me, Ryan. I think that one thing I do like to say is that when you appreciate the good appreciates, and that's a way I like to refer to
Mm.
gratitude. But the good appreciates in value.
Oh, I like that. So when you appreciate the good appreciates. Oh, that's a good line, Brian. I like that.
Yeah, I got a few
Uh,
zingers.
I like it. And so I'm thinking about my own question here. I wonder if this is not that you need somebody else, but maybe being grateful is having the intentionality and awareness to know where I'm at peace. Like I am grateful. Like I'm,
Yeah.
but maybe gratitude is the added layer of connecting with somebody else and sharing that gratefulness with them. Gratefulness is almost like I'm grateful that we met, and gratitude is me saying, Brian, I'm grateful that we met.
Yeah, I love that. It's the shared experience. I think that's
Yeah.
so important. And it's both reframing your mind and the other person's mind. Because we live in this world where we're so fixated on negativity. And if you look at social media, it's negativity. If you look at the news, it's negativity. Gratitude puts you in that positive light. Because one thing I like to say, like, chances are, no matter, we fixate on the negative, but chances are 6 out of 7 things in your life are going right. And if you think about a set of tennis, Ryan, if I won 6 games and lost 1 game, what's the result?
Yeah, man, victory.
You won the set. You won the set every time. But we fixate on that negative, on that one thing that went wrong. Gratitude forces you to fixate on the positives and realize that there's actually so much in this life that is amazing.
Oh, what a great metaphor. All right, so again, I think in the spirit of I like systems and I like simple, and
Yeah.
even talking about the gratitude, now calling it the gratitude challenge, the
Yeah.
happiness challenge, this 5-day happiness challenge. A few on my team were like, it should be 5 things. It's a 5-day happiness challenge, not 4. So, I'm not here to fight them or argue with them on is this right or wrong. But when I think about the 4 that we have right now, I felt like 2 do a really good job on connection and relationships, and
Yeah.
2 do a really good job on like, hey, do you. Like, do you, right? Like, what do you love is do you. 1 mile of running or jogging is for you, and then
Yeah.
the text to your friend or call to a loved one, family member, that gratitude check-in is about bridging those relationships. So if you're going to give me one more, knowing these 4, what's the 5th one that you would add?
Yeah, the 5th easy one, in my opinion, is just mindfulness. If you can start your day with 5 mindful minutes and just set the tone for your day, it'll change everything. And if you're listening to this, think about this. Do you use your phone as your alarm clock? And if your answer is yes, you're the same as 90+% of people. But the moment you check your phone in the morning, you're acknowledging the world's to-do list for you. Whether it's your emails, your texts, your social media, whatever else, the world's to-do list for you as opposed to your own to-do list for you. So I challenge you to, instead of waking up with your phone, and I know it's like, how am I going to wake up? Alarm clocks cost $7 on Amazon. Try to wake up. Try to wake up without checking your phone and just have 5 minutes. Make your coffee, go for a little walk, pet your dog, whatever it is, have 5 moments of just presence and see what that's like. Because most of us aren't experiencing that. Most of us are constantly thinking about other things, but we have so much wisdom within ourselves. And if we could take 5 minutes to start our day, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, honestly, everyone with me, just take a breath in through your nose and out through the mouth. That's all. That's mindfulness right there. If you can start with that, that's amazing.
I feel like I just want to set 6-1, baby. That's what that felt like right there.
You won 6-0 right there, Ryan. You swept.
Well, okay, so here's my one last question on this. So I love this. So five mindfulness moments, we'll call them.
Yeah.
Do I do that? So I'm doing that before I even pick up the phone and texting anybody. This is to me time. So whether that's my version of meditation or I go make my coffee, right? But basically just stay away from technology and make it all about you.
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Brian, so good to see you. Let me be not the first one to say that I understand why you're at Modern Elder Academy, because you're an old soul, and like, it's so cool to see. Like, I'd love for that. This is like, well, clearly reincarnation's true. Like, who were you in the life before, and what came with you as you're levitating here on this podcast? But I'm so glad that we've got a chance to know each other, and I just feel, and I know you feel the same way, that like, hey, courage and happiness are siblings, right? We are kin, and so I know that there'll be more opportunities to share your message with this community, and look forward to doing it. And shame on me, it's been way too long to get you on the pod, and I've learned a ton from you today, man. Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Yeah, it's just the beginning. Happiness leads to courage. Courage is going to change the world. So keep on doing what you're doing.
This is AI version of Ryan Berman signing off.
I knew it. I knew it.
No, it's me, Brian. It's me.
Okay,
Thanks, buddy.
okay.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.